Good morning, you fine people of YouTube. This is IT Live, and it is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. I'm Texas Homer. Next to me is Ian Boyd. Wednesday show. We talk more schematics, more in the weeds, more for our fans of ball knowing. And we are going to discuss Arch Manning and company's best drive of the second half. And then we'll talk a little bit about Manning's mindset. I'm sure you guys are going to have tons of questions and all of that. But if you guys want to know more about Ohio State, we've been watching quite a lot of that. But if you guys want to know even more, you should go to InsideTexas.com. It's a wonderful website where you can get recruiting news, team updates. Eric just dropped more team notes this morning, as well as analysis from the crew, Ian, Paul, all of that stuff, guys. You can join for just $1 for your first week. Guess what? You can get a complimentary year to The Athletic on top of that. A lot of value, Ian. A lot of value. Good morning, Roaster. Good morning, AR. Good morning, Sugarcane Dad. We have a very formal relationship. Hello to the on-air talent. Good stuff, AR. Just renewed his IT subscription. Appreciate you. Ian, what's up, man? How'd your workout go, dude?
I got a crick in my neck.
Great.
You know, you like sleep on it, and so it's just waiting to tighten up.
Yep.
And then you do a pull up or something, or lift a weight above your head, and then it's like.
Yep. It's the fun world of lifting weights, man. You think you would feel stronger and all of that with lifting weights? It really you just kind of feel tired all the time, and because you're constantly in recovery. So that's the fun part of a lot of exercise. You don't get the benefits on a deload week, I guess, but normally you're just kind of tired and wanting to rest. Okay, so we're gonna go through the best drive of the second half. People will go, what drive are you guys talking about? There's one with some promise. We want to show you.
With a caveat of the one where they actually scored.
Yeah. But that's
the best drive.
I was going to say drive, but it's also like a fade. So it's like, this is the one where they put plays together, got stopped in the red zone, but there's more of a punch to this one.
There's a bunch of questions that I hope people will ask me today. I don't know if they're going to come up in the article. I'm just going to write them down.
Adam, people have been very curious this week. It's been a big week for film study. I'll tell you that, man. And also check out Paul and Ian did a really great film breakdown yesterday. And I also got to say incredible editing by the producer on that. And so go check that out. It's really interesting. We go over some key plays. They break it down. You can learn a lot. Okay, Ian, set this drive up for us. Set the stage for this article.
All right. Coming out of the half, Sark has noted they made adjustments that they felt worked. You can watch the first drive after the half. You can see the adjustments they made. You can watch them work. The trick is that they launched this really good drive in their first post-halftime drive, get down to the goal line, and then that's where it was like the QB sweep that I went over the other day where Hudson leads outside, Manning runs inside, they get stopped. Baxter fights to the 1-inch line, they run quarterback sneak, Ohio State overloads and stops it. So they didn't get anything. That's the drive I'm about to talk about. We're not really going to get into the goal line stuff again, but more how they got there. After this drive, it was like, okay, they didn't score. That was tough. But they just pinned Ohio State. They're kind of in control of the game flow right now, and they're only down 7-zip. Then Arch throws the interception. Crap. You just blew it. Then Ohio State scores on the big play to Carnell Tate. And then they were never able, the relevant point here is they were never quite able to get back to this stuff that we're about to detail. Because then it was like, we're down 14-zip. We just burned through a bunch of the third quarter, and we need to start scoring and moving the ball and trying to ramp up the number of possessions we can get in this game. So if they could have stuck with this stuff, that'd been a lot better. They might have pulled this game out.
No.
But more than that, also, I think this is the kind of stuff that is most likely to provide the best foundation for Texas to build on this season. And what we're about to get into is basically RPO spread football.
Sure, Kane Daddy. Quick question: did y'all hear Bruce Arians' comments on Patricia's defense? I did not. Ian, did you?
I saw that he said that that Patricia was like toying with Arch and Sark, which feels maybe a little strong, but
it's a little dramatic.
Interesting.
They had disguise on 28%, but there was a ton of just like, look, they're in cover 3. Look, they're in man. Toying is, I know it's cool. It sounds awesome because it sounds very like football guy to be like, I know scheme. And I'm not arguing that Arians doesn't, but I'm saying like, I've heard that's a common thing. It's just like, man, when you look at the coordinators matching up, it's just like, I mean, Patricia had a good game plan. It's very NFL modern right now. Like it's very common, not in college, but in the NFL, but it's just a little corny how everyone went with that. Cause it's, if you watch the tape, man, like Sark gets guys open plenty of times. Arch just struggles type of thing. So be wary of sound bites because you don't get 3 minutes to go into the gray area and the nuances of football. You kind of have to come out with a cool, fun take. And that seems the one a lot of people are going with. Reality be damned. Okay. So we start on 1st and 10 and we get a center guard sweep.
This was a big part of the game plan. It's we're calling it a center guard sweep. It's almost like a blend of pin and pull and counter.
All right. And then where are we running it to so people can have their eyes ready?
So they've got trips on bottom. That means 3 receivers that are removed from the core of the formation. And then Jack Henry's is in line on the top. So all the space is actually to the top. And then the receivers are all in the more condensed space on the bottom. They're going to block down with injuries and the right tackle on top. They're going to try to reach block the backside tackle with the left guard. Gooseby is going to try to get play side and pick off a linebacker. And they're going to pull the center. They're going to pull the right guard to kick out the edge, and then pull the center behind him to lead in between through the hole, like in a gap power scheme. So it's like a power sweep, I think, is the best way to describe this. You could call it pin and pull too. I feel like, I don't know. I'm not sure what the difference is between pin and pull and power sweep.
I just call it pin and pull.
It's
whoever got to me first at a clinic. I mean, that's like really what it comes down to.
When I was introduced to pin and pull, the idea was like an outside zone play. And this doesn't really feel like outside zone, except for that backside guard having to block that tackle.
I just get it from that they down block and pin the inside guy and then they pull. So
yes.
Yeah. So anyways, we're not going to go into scheme jargon. That's annoying for everyone. But we're going to look to the top of the screen. You're going to see center guard pull out. And then this is what happens. Okay. So guard gets his man here. And then we have Hudson center working up to the second level, whatever red jersey pops first. And then of course we have, I think, Wisner running behind. Pretty good gain.
Got 6 on this one.
Mm-hmm. It's tricky here is there's no really room to go inside here. I mean, you're going to get tackled. They have like a triple vice on you. And then Wisner tries to break out. And then the blocker that's on Cole up here is able to disengage and make the play on Wisner. Right there. As Cole collapses. Ooh.
Other important points, the defensive end on the bottom, number 97, who actually surprisingly gets there in pursuit. Arch is reading him. And he stays home in case Arch pulls the ball like a zone read, which helps the play. 97 still surprisingly gets there, but they hold him and they allows them to leave him unblocked, and it allows Gooseby to go pick off the linebacker, who I think he actually makes contact on and at least obstructs.
Is that the game plan? Because I've seen several plays where they're holding Arch on the backside. You think they were just like, don't let Manning pull it? I've seen 3 or 4 examples.
Most teams, like when offenses are running like gap schemes and zone plays where they're reading the backside end with the quarterback, you get into a lot of trouble if you try to play if you try to chase after the running back, because you have the quarterback pull. And if you're like, well, we'll just tackle the quarterback with a scraping linebacker or with an overhang, well, now you got like this bubble screen on the bottom. So you chase the running back, the quarterback can run. As we'll see in a minute, if you try to get the quarterback, he can flip it out on the bubble screen, and you can just get outnumbered really quickly. So what teams usually elect to do against these kinds of plays is just say, hey, backside end, if you're unblocked, contain the quarterback. And we will just try to play the concept honestly and just out-execute Texas on CG sweep, because we don't want to deal with the option stuff where we could get into trouble on the perimeter. And it's like, now it's Arch running around an open corner, or it's like a flip out to DeAndre Moore and we don't have enough guys. That's much worse than can we stop counter, honestly, you know?
Yeah, and if you look at the alignment here, this is important, right? He's playing off the ball, so this is very easy for them to get into a bubble situation. He can just, and you'll see right here, he just goes right off there. So that pre-snap alignment is also a good tell. All right, so that's 1st and 10. We pick up, what do we get? 6, he said? We'll see in 1 second, right? Yep, 6. Okay, Texas stays in 11 personnel with Jack injuries, the sole tight end on the field, but this time they put him off ball in more of what we'll call a Y back alignment.
That's what Tom Herman called it, and that always made sense to me. Because it's like a Y tight end, but he's kind of playing off the ball like a fullback. So
I just hear it as gravedigger. He's in the gravedigger position because they kill guys pulling on the coming back.
That's a little bit generous. If you want to watch somebody who kills people in that alignment, watch Oklahoma versus Michigan next week.
Yeah.
Michigan dude that they play there, Max Bradison. I saw some plays last week where I can't remember who Michigan played, but Bradison hit a couple defensive ends on those types of blocks, and they crumbled. He hits so freaking hard on those. And sometimes they line him out wide, and then they let him run, get a running start, you know?
Yeah, I'm not saying our guys are gravediggers. I'm telling you that alignment, that position, you'll hear referred to as the gravedigger.
I loved how injuries played. Well, we're about to watch injuries do some good stuff.
I actually did too. So rewatching.
Not taking souls, though.
I rewatched the run game. I thought he was sound in his assignments and willing to get in front of guys. He wasn't avoidant. He also wasn't an Iowa tight end either. But okay, so Texas Y lead RPO. So injuries should pull up into the core for some type of zone looking run. Yeah.
This is it's like split zone, but instead of blocking a backside end with the tight end, you have in this case, the left tackle blocks back like pass sets to control that guy, and you insert the tight end for a linebacker. And this is awesome if you have a smaller receiving tight end who might be a willing blocker, but maybe not like a very big or physical one. Like injuries. Now you're blocking a linebacker instead of a defensive end, and that's easier. Especially like a modern linebacker they don't take on a lot of lead blocks in general.
I really did like the linebacker play from Ohio State, though.
Ohio State is so good, man. They were so much better on defense than you might have hoped.
Is 18 McClellan for them, the safety?
I can't remember if it's Hartford or McLean.
Okay. Those are the 2 other safeties besides Downs. But Man, he was really good at moving through the box. Like there's several plays where there's just a ton of issues going on, and he's just like juke, and he like gets, tackle Wisner by his back legs and stuff. And then also Downs is like 10 yards off the line of scrimmage, responsible for like a run blitz in the B gap. No one's counting him in the box because why would you? And then he just flies in the B gap and like makes the play from behind. Man, their safety play and linebacker play was really cool.
Yeah, really cool. This is one way to put it. He was awesome. Somebody noted he's the lowest rated player in the secondary. He was rated like 88 out of high school. He's very good, obviously. Yeah. They were all very good and very well coached. Some of the match coverages they played and how well they played them, and with the level of disguise they played them with. Y'all watch that deep dive. You'll watch Ohio State has this play where McClellan is lined up like at linebacker depth, bails to cover the deep post at the snap, gets there, and then they play like a Dick LeBeau Steeler match fire zone coverage. Yeah. And they play it where they like invert the nickel on the inside linebackers assignments, and they get the nickel over the top on injuries on a crosser. And it's like crazy stuff.
Well, they were doing fun stuff over the middle, like passing off crossers. Like we see that, passing off crossers in the secondary, but you don't see like a ton of crosser unless you're playing like one rat. But like they were just passing off stuff between like a Tampa 2 linebacker and like they were just handing it off, and it was really impressive. The amount of communication. Also, that's why I think tempo added some benefit at times, because anytime you checked or gave time, they were all talking. You just didn't want to give them the time to be able to do that at some points. Okay, so this is Y lead RPO. This is a 6 guys in the box on our 6 blockers, meaning that to me, if you're equal or less, you're a light box, because there's technically not a 7th person to hit Wisner, but corners and safeties are really active for this defense. Corners come in, shed. All right, you ready to move on?
No.
Okay.
What I like about this from injuries is that, if you can start it over, he's aiming for that backside linebacker. That's his guy. But he sees the defensive tackle is pushing the left guard inside, and he's like, you know what? Let's play it safe here. He helps the left guard double team the tackle and try to work from there to get to the linebacker. And by stopping that penetration from the defensive tackle, they ensure that this play is successful. So that's just a smart adjustment by injuries, who is just a much smarter. I knew he was a willing blocker, but I didn't know he was quite this skilled and smart about who to block and when and how.
Same here. That's what I was surprised by with injuries watching the tape. Like he was understanding the concept and just understanding where to help out.
Yeah, and we're not even going to get into the freaking wheel play that he caught before the touchdown, where he's a plus blocker when he's in like a protected fullback kind of role. In line, I think he's going to be limited.
Yeah.
But he's a plus blocker in different alignments, and he's definitely a plus receiver with a little bit of speed. Yeah, I think he might be the best offensive player on the team. He's definitely the best on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue against that.
Hopefully not the best all year.
You know who is the best all year? It's Academy Sports and Outdoors, guys. Some things just go better together. Burgers and fries, Friday nights in Texas football, and now Academy Sports and Outdoors and Whataburger. Your favorite new tailgate combo is coming in hot. Academy Sports and Outdoors is teaming up with Whataburger to fuel your pre- and post-game traditions. It's a match made in Texas. Score your limited edition gear at Academy. Get everything you need to host your own Friday night tailgate. Canopies, cornhole boards, jerseys, stadium seats, and more. Shop exclusive Academy and Whataburger gear while it lasts. Guys, it's not going on forever. Make your move. Head to your local Academy. Get your gear. All right. Next play.
I got a new Texas polo at Academy the other day.
There you go, man. Good stuff, Ian. 1st and 10 again. Now we get the actual throw on the RPO. So we saw the center guard sweep with the backside screen option. We didn't throw to it. So we showed you that. Pay attention to these similar lineups, right? Look what's going on again here. This same bubble screen trips alignment that we just saw earlier.
Exact same play, exact same concept, only it's to the right instead of the left, but it's still to the boundary.
Yep.
It still trips to the boundary so you can run the sweep to the field. So just real quick, just to hammer this again, the defense is really stressed on this because the ball can go two places. It can go wide to the field on a run, or it can go wide to the boundary on a throw. And so that you have to just play your matchups as a defense and hope that you don't get beat in isolation to either side.
Yep.
Because you can't gang up on the ball. You're just pulled too far apart. Go ahead.
Run it. Okay. So Arch throws it in the dirt, and it's not the right read. So it's the wrong read here. Because they don't have the numbers they want to the throw, to the screen. So you can give there. So wrong read and bad throw. So not ideal. And this is that's DeAndre Moore, right? Or is that Wingo? Can't tell.
It's Moore.
Poor Moore, man. Like he couldn't get a catchable ball all game. You know, people are like, "Where was Moore?" It's like, well, it's not on Moore. What was going on there?
Also, not the worst block in the world, but not a great block. And then the edge is bailing. So, who is that? Pause it. Yeah, the edge is bailing. They have like a stand-up edge, and he's bailing to the throw. The posited theory that you'll find lots of places is that Sark noticed that they were Sark didn't think they were honoring the bubble screen. So he just told Arch, he just gave him a predetermined, just throw the bubble screen. And
it might be an investment too.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
And well, you throw it to let them know that you will throw it, because otherwise we weren't throwing it. So now your sweep could actually be even better in the future.
But you know what Abraham Lincoln once said? Better to keep silent and be thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt.
That's true.
I wonder if part of the reason for the awful throw is that Arch is pulling back and he's seeing this is not good. You know? Like he's seeing the edge bail out and he's like, not good.
Not ideal.
It would almost be like, throwing it into the dirt, as long as it's forward, is actually safer if you see.
You might have saved yards.
Except DeAndre Moore caught it for some reason.
Does he actually catch this?
Yeah.
Damn it, Moore.
No, it's tough because it's like maybe he's afraid it's a fumble or something if he doesn't catch it.
No, that's the rare time I wish we would have had the incompletion.
Yeah. This is all around just a terrible play.
Yeah. It's wrong read, bad throw, bad catch on a bad throw. Not great. All right. Now we are in 2nd and 15. Injury. What happened between that? Did we lose that much on that? We lost 5 on that? Damn.
5. Look how far back he is, because like you said, he's way back for a bubble.
Yeah. Basically took like a false start penalty. Okay. Injury shows his versatility once again, this time flexing out as a solo side receiver in the boundary. They started to do this with injuries.
A lot.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I think the corner play was really good for Ohio State. Let's see if we can also burn a corner on a tight end sometimes, and just get a really good coverage defender, not focused on the faster receivers. But I did see a lot of solo side with injuries. Okay. Flexing out as a solo side receiver in the boundary for what looks like it might have been a smash route combination. So a corner route with a flat underneath.
Or a hitch, I guess.
Yeah, flat or anything low to hold a flat defender so you can try to throw it over.
Yeah, perfect.
Why ISO?
This is not great, what we're about to see. Injuries, falls down.
Yep,
So,
arch scrambles.
So much for that. Everything is pretty covered to the field, I think. You can go ahead and roll it.
Yeah. ISO formation covered up, but Manning picks up a 15-yard gain with an impressive scramble. Be watching the top of your screen, and I think someone's going to go to the flats. Injury's going to come up here, fall down. Arch is going to go, oh shit, and then he's just going to take off out here.
He also gets pressure in his face.
Yep, right there. Injury's going to fall in a second. Injuries goes down. Arch just immediately turns his head and takes off.
It's kind of surprising. I had to cut it off before he finishes the run because the GIF was so long. But two things there that are interesting to me, maybe three. First, he evades the first rusher, which is not the hardest thing at quarterback, but that's nice to see.
Yeah.
Then he sees what's going on. It's kind of like the 4th and 5 Vince Young touchdown play, where all of his receivers to that side are running across. So that means he knows he can run to the vacated space. The fact that he beats this guy to the edge is impressive.
That's a good note.
That's fast.
Yeah.
Then my favorite part, if you play it just a little, is that he starts to go inside and then makes the little Vince Young two-step to get back outside and get all the way to the first down, and then gets out of bounds.
Yep. So he made Archie proud and got us the run. There was a QB counter in the first half. Arch ran 2 that looked really nice. There was like twice that I was like, he looks like our most explosive runner. You know, and so it's kind of a scary realization, but there were twice where I was like, I think he has the most like off the line go right now.
Is Arch Manning Texas's best runner? I need to see more of Baxter.
Yeah.
I think that Arch is more sudden than Trey Wisner.
Mm-hmm.
I like that Trey Wisner is patient and seems to always get to the right spot behind the right blocks. I dislike watching what follows, which is, I feel like, usually not very sudden. And then he does not get away from second level tacklers or break tackles pretty much ever.
I agree. But there's good stuff on this play. The pocket mobility to evade, the play busts, and not his fault. His read just falls down, and guess what? He gets a first down.
If you're going to be a spread offense that has guys spread out, it's hard to do that style of offense well if the quarterback is not a scrambling threat. A scrambling threat quarterback makes this style of offense so much easier. Yeah. If you're not, you need to be like even a Garrett Nussmeier. A Garrett Nussmeier is like an example of what it looks like when it's not a scrambler and he's still good. And Nussmeier will still run every now and then when it's there, kind of like Quinn Ewers. But what makes Nussmeier so good at it is just his football IQ just keeps getting better and better, and he hits big plays. But the level of skill you need at quarterback to run this offense well, if you're not a dual threat, is super high.
Yeah, 1,000%.
I think Arch is going to get there skill-wise just as soon as he figures out how to throw a freaking shallow cross. As soon as he remembers this middle school level skill, I think he's going to be very skilled. But this just makes everything so much easier.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because Arch will throw that ball to Injuries, that beautiful hole shot, and you're like, NFL throw, and then can't hit the shallow. So it was just like very high highs, very low lows.
Yeah. I think just to touch on that real quick, those shots that he hit where he just like threw balls up, the Wingo post, the Injuries wheel, and the wheel fade also to Livingston for a touchdown. When he's just like sees it and is just letting it go, he looks great. The shallows that he missed to Wingo, I think he's thinking about it and feeling the heat, the pressure of the moment, and he's pressing. And I think he just got the yips isn't right because I don't think the yips are something that
the yips are also over time, right? Like the yips are like a sudden loss of your powers, but it's happening like game after game after game. When it's just like one instant, it's just a data point. Now, if you see 3 data points, now you have a trend line, then you can start talking that. But just when you just have one, especially because we've seen his prior starts and it didn't look like that, So this one is just, you'll kind of just, hey, that was weird. And then if it doesn't continue, you're just like, okay. But it'd be different if I never saw him play a game. But like, and I was watching tape studies from other guys that don't know the team as well. And, they'd be like, it looks like he's scared to take a hit. But it's like, look, man, I just want to show you Stone Blanton versus Mississippi State, where Stone Blanton comes and hits him in the ribs and he throws the touchdown fade. Like,
I don't think he's afraid to. I think his misses were just that he wanted it really bad.
Me too.
And he sped himself up.
Well, and also, man, like the true reality, he's a human being. What an insane, this week has got to be a nightmare. But here's the thing, like sports psychology wise, is like, look, you can be like, okay, man, the nightmare happened. They pierced the veil. You're not a god. We're no longer talking about the idea of you, right? You had a bad game. You're going to be in the wash for a week. Okay, look, you don't have to fear this anymore. It occurred. Now you can step forward, get after it. And a lot of these things, like the miss to Wingo, like he can make that throw. He just, something happened. So it's like a lot of this stuff is super fixable as well. That's a big factor because it was there on a lot of stuff. He just needs to get better at his progressions. He needs to see the middle of the field better in particular. And then when it's there, man, on those big moments, man, just make the play. Sark was handing it to you. Sark wanted to make it really easy for you. I thought Sark did a good job protecting his quarterback, especially in the second half. Whenever he kind of realized what was going on. So it's really not as dire as it looked.
And yet all of his best plays were the ones where he had to do something hard instead of doing something spoon-fed.
So this is what was really interesting is like after the game, Sark was like, I realized I have to let Arch play. And he was like, and then he talks about at one point, I think it was the Monday press conference, about I need to let Arch like get hit. And he says, look, you don't get hit all practice. You don't get hit all camp. So to me, man, play 1, San Jose, QB draw. Let him have it. Let him get his legs working. Let him take the hit. Let him get the blood flowing and then do that. But Sark said the same thing. I need to let Arch play. And
let Arch be Arch.
Yeah, it's the Vince thing, right? But I think that is true. Like once he misses the screen, but at the end, and Sark does this a lot. Like whenever we're behind, like the final drives, like the final drive of Washington or Georgia is like, we start dealing. Like even with Quinn, like we're getting 30-yard gains, bang, bang, bang. Maybe that I like Sark in desperation mode. We don't always don't finish it, but we look better on those we're scared drives. And it always kind of surprises me. So maybe we do just need to like let the gamerness kind of take over earlier, I guess.
I think so. Okay. This next one is interesting, as I say, word for word in the article.
Yeah.
It's CG sweep RPO again. This time it's a 2x1. And so they have a bubble screen on the bottom. And I actually don't know. I assume the receiver on top blocks, but I'm not even sure.
Watch it. Yeah. He tries to go for the leverage block.
So here's the thing on this one. The defensive end crashes, which you shouldn't do. Like I said, on these plays where there's like options to the field, you're better off just containing and taking your chances against the run. But he crashes. Arch keeps it. Look at the space Arch has up the seam.
I agree. This play stuck out to me as well. We throw it out there. I'm like, Arch, I don't care about the RPO right now. Like, go get 10.
Yeah. Now he's going to get hit by like a safety, probably. I would like to see him like dive or slide or something. I don't like to slide that much, but
Me neither.
if you can get enough yards and then slide, he draws everybody in and then he tosses the bubble outside. I will say the throw is very good. He's very good at that throw. And you almost get a first down. It's not like a bad play. And it also takes potential shots off of his body. But
he needs it to activate, Ian. In order to activate, he must accrue hits. He's got the Sam Ehlinger disposition to everyone's horror.
I don't want him to lose the ability to hit the whole shot to injuries like Ehlinger did every year.
For sure.
Ehlinger, like, watch him early in the year and he'd hit like a bomb or well-placed fade or something. And you'd be like, this guy's so good. And then, yeah.
Well, Ehlinger at one point had 4 different injuries. Like, it was insane how beat up Sam was. And he was just on the field, like, absolute legend.
Is that 2019?
I'm so bad with the years.
2019, he had like a bruised rib. And I don't know what else.
I don't even know if it was publicly available injuries. No. Yeah, no. I think it was just somebody was like, dude, he has like 4 different things right now.
His last 2020, he had a bone bruise. And I was like, is that bad? And then he played against Oklahoma State and he could barely move. And I was like, oh, it's bad.
Yeah.
I can tell.
All right. So we're seeing this guard center sweep thing. And coaches call this a series. You go into your series. So you'll go into like a drive going like, okay, this is going to be a lot of sweep. And then we're going to have the first level sweep, run the base play. Then we're going to have the second layer built on top of that and the third, blah, blah, blah. So right now they're in what's called a sweep series. And you'll notice again, guys, like, so you want to pay attention to pre-snap. This receiver here is off the line, meaning he can move. But if he's going to run a crosser or something vertical, you're going to want him on the line because you want him closer to the ball. So it already gives away that this receiver is not going to go vertical because he's not on the line. If you see a cut split where the receiver hangs out closer to the line, most of the times they're putting them closer to the line because they're going to run some type of crosser. So pay attention to where the receivers are. Pay attention if they're on or off the line. Can give you hints on what their route will end up being.
This is what my flag football offense is like. The formation sort of gives away the intention, but to a 10-year-old,
I was going to say, it only matters if the coach can realize it. The 10-year-old
and get it to his players. Yeah, we're gonna run an RPO this year, which is bold, I would say.
But there's triple action here. So there's the sweep to the boundary. There's the pool of arch that he can keep in the RPO. Sometimes in coaching, the players might not realize this. They probably do. This is at this level they can. But the opposing defensive coordinator absolutely notices this. And so he's like, okay, they have the threat of the bubble here. Let's divert more resources to the bubble. They're playing a triangle right here, 3/2. So you can also give them. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
They can also do this to tell the coordinators, and it gives them more space in the run or the pull as well.
Yeah, they had things schemed up so good in the run game, and especially on this drive, like we've seen. You'll watch all these runs. There's a hole for 5 to 10 yards, like every time. The problem that we see is that Texas then gets 5 to 10 yards. They get what's blocked, and that's it. There's no game-changing play. And what the result of that is that you end up having to convert in the red zone if you can't get big game-changing plays in the run game. In the passing game, like you just said, they're playing 3/2. Ohio State prioritized taking away big passing plays for the entire game. Other teams will do that too. Some of them will get punished for it. Maybe just, I mean, they're on track to be like kind of like last year, where if you couldn't handle the Texas run game, they would just bury you. Trey Wisner could go for 200. But if you had good enough personnel to limit those holes, and then you could emphasize taking away big plays and coverage, then Texas was really in a tough spot.
Well, what's kind of was annoying about the run game is how many times a backside pursuit player was able to get to our running backs and get them from behind. And that's two things, right?
In this game?
Yeah, in this game. Downs did it a lot, and Downs is not a fun player to talk about because he's so good, right? But you'll see it. You'll see it. Other guys do it as well. So that's two things. The offensive line can be on them, but also the backs' lack of exploding through the hole allows the backside pursuit to come. And it's a lot of leg tripping, like smacking their legs out from under them from behind. So that's a factor. No runs over 15 yards is a factor. And then I'll see things. Fans have to understand that you can only block as many guys as you have on the offensive line. And it's running back's job to beat the safety or the corner. Those players are not blocked for a reason. They're the responsibility of the running back. The running back has to beat them. So you'll see times where like a running back is heads up with a safety or a corner in any situation. And then the fan will go like, well, there's a safety right there. It's like, yes, that's the guy you have to beat. That's the job of the running back. So even if you do see him one-on-one, if the game plan is that it has to be wide open and everyone has to be blocked for us to have an explosive play, we're in trouble. So that's a big factor too in the run game. And I know it's tough to understand. We rushed for 160. They averaged 5. But there's a lot of nuance here, and you could be very frustrated later with this run game. If you do see them teams that do decide to load the box, then you'll start to understand what the potential downsides to this running game could be.
My understanding of the value of running backs in college football has been getting considerably more nuanced in the last few years. First, watching Bijan and how much chicken salad Bijan made out of other chicken ingredients. And then also seeing like the last couple of years where they like the line and the run pass conflict is creating all the rushing yards, and the running back is just like whoever can reliably get what's being blocked, you know?
I've gone the full circle too. So I went from running backs are gods to running backs don't matter at all. And in fact, don't even draft them. That kind of level of thinking. And then now I'm back to if you have a good offense and then you have a playmaker at running back, it makes your offense so much more different. Now, if you have a bad offense and a great running back, not a lot going on because they're going to get tackled a bunch. But the cherry on top, right? The Saquon with the Eagles. Like if you have a good team and then add a playmaker at running back, now you're really cooking, especially if they're in the pass. So I've actually gone full circle on running back from, Ricky Williams, you need an elite guy to actually, they don't even matter. They're just kind of a replacement level player to psych. They're an incredible ingredient.
I think where I've been leaning is that the average NFL running back is a much higher caliber of athlete and player at that position than the average guy at the college level. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like the replacement level running back in college is not always. There's like there seems to be a bigger gulf there.
Yeah. This is an interesting question. Homer, apologies, you already covered this, but it seems like we didn't use the wheel routes near as much in this game. Seemed to be a staple of explosives last year. So we did do wheels. We just didn't do them with the running backs.
They did run the running back rail a couple times.
In mesh,
and it was covered.
Yeah.
There's one that on the Wingo goal line where he Arch like threw it into his knee or wherever. I couldn't tell exactly where that ball placement was. Low, right? A lot of people have been like, why didn't you just throw to the running back? And there's a corner that immediately picked it up. The cornerback is like 10 yards off the running back, who's like 5 yards in the backfield. And so I've had people tell me, like, if he throws to that running back, it's like one-on-one and he scores. And I'm like,
one-on-one's also the problem.
I was like, I know it doesn't look like it from this angle, but the cornerback 10 yards deep sitting on that, he's going to have, as soon as he sees the quarterback go to throw, he's breaking.
Yep.
The ball is going to lead the running back up the field. And these guys run a 40 in 4.4 seconds. So how fast do they run 10 yards? About a second.
Yeah.
So it looks like this is wide open, but that is a pick six waiting to happen.
Yep.
And then, as Connor just said, Texas actually ran a ton of wheel routes in this game where they would have a receiver motion outside and then hit upfield on the wheel route on the go at the snap. And it generated two of the only explosives in the game.
Yeah.
The shot to injuries was a wheel, and the touchdown to Livingston was a wheel.
Yeah, on these little cheat motions, they would just and go.
Yeah.
All right, guys, before we keep going, let's hear a word from our sponsor, David McClellan.
I'm just going to say, guys, you probably need a fiduciary financial advisor, and I've got the guy for you. His name is David McClellan with Forum Financial. He works broadly and deeply with his clients as a financial life coach, and he should know something about coaching because he won several national championships as a swimmer for the University of Texas. He specializes in financial planning and has contributed numerous articles to Kiplinger on the topic of retirement tax bombs. So contact David today to be your fiduciary financial planner and schedule a 1-hour consultation to assess your financial situations. The free consultation is available, so just give him a call. The number is 312-933-8823. That's 312-933-8823. His email is also in the description below.
I need to call David just on basic budgeting because these groceries are getting me, dog.
What?
He'll just be like, oh, just make a spreadsheet. And I'll be like, oh, you're probably dealing with people with slightly more assets than me. Okay.
Can you pull up the Bobby Petronic, Ezekiel's wheel question?
The Ezekiel's wheel. Don't recall seeing Ezekiel's wheel or a derivative. Maybe that's a tool for lesser defenses.
On this drive, they ran a derivative of it to convert 3rd and 2 from 12 personnel. So they ran it at least once that I can recall. They ran it where they do the motion, but the second tight end actually blocks, and the outside tight end and receiver run stick flat. And Baxter got the ball, and they picked up 3rd and 2 in the cutback. So that's still there.
Do you feel like there were less screens to you? Not like RPO screens or check downs, but like just like stone cold quick screens?
It's hard to throw quick screens, and the other team is lining up guys, defensive backs, across from all your eligible receivers.
I was just praying that we got it out of the offense, but all right, fair enough.
Well, that's what you either scheme those with formations like trips into the boundary, or you're like, we're gonna make you choose if you're really gonna put guys all the way out here or not. Or you do it when the other team is trying to cheat you into the box. And Ohio State didn't really. Ohio State was like, no, you run the ball. Go ahead and run the ball, Texas.
Yep. Yeah, you saw it, the 3-over-2s, those kind of stuff. This is also a point of note that we should say is that Ohio State was allowing the run in the game plan by box numbers. They wanted to stop the pass. Yes, so 160 yards rushing, it sounds great, guys. We have to look at it in context. Basically, Ohio State said, look, the run game is inefficient, right? A pass averages twice as much as a run. Okay, so we want to stop the pass. We know Sark likes to hit shots. So let them run between the 20s. When it's 3rd down, we'll bow up. When it's red zone, we can bow up, those kind of things. But as far as, just standard downs, hanging out between the 20s, let them run. They're not getting explosives. They had nothing over 15 yards. They're just kind of getting what is blocked for. Okay, so 160 yards rushing, and we score seven points total. The 7 we do score is on a wheel fade to Livingston. So you got to understand the context. If we face a team that goes 8 in the box, this run game is going to look a lot different. So be wary of that going forward. Okay, we're going back. We're sticking with our sweep series that we've been going. This is second and goal. This is quarterback sweep, straight QB keeper is perfectly designed, but Cole Hudson leads out the kick block while Manning cuts inside of it. What do we mean by that? We'll see in a second. Okay, so we have the guard pull, and he immediately kicks out the end. Generally, you're going to pull up here inside and go to this second level player and block him. Potential touchdown. We'll have to see what this safety ends up doing. Instead, Cole Hudson goes around, and it can work if he gets to this guy and Arch pulls, but Arch thinks he's going inside because that's normally where you would go. He pulls outside. Now Arch Manning doesn't have a lead blocker anymore. Safety does get blocked here for a second. So if we could have just got somebody right here, everyone's blocked up and Arch can likely score. But it doesn't happen.
They got off blocks, and they got the backside end makes the tackle.
Yep.
On a right? Can you play it again?
Yep. I think it's the backside end.
I swore it was.
I think it's right here, right? Let's see.
No, from the other side of the play.
We'll see. They were good at that too. Yeah, he comes from somewhere in here. Yep.
Wait, who is that?
It's right here, right?
No.
Yeah, it is.
Was that the end?
I think it's the end. It's whoever this is right here.
I was sure on the end zone. This is so good.
Watch him run through the trash and hit him. Boom.
Oh, I was looking at the wrong guy. Okay.
I'm pointing him out. It's this guy.
It's very small.
Yeah, you do wear glasses. He's right here where my cursor is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you just look at this let's look for a second, right? Whoop, I did it too far. Let's look at this look.
On the goal line, I really wish Hudson had stayed inside and shoved that guy out and then looked for somebody. I understand why Arch didn't want to try to get around that guy that was posting up the pole, because what you worry about is that the defensive end that Stroh is blocking. Yeah. And then you're looking at a 2 or 3 yard loss. Well,
and I'll tell you, the first couple series with Stroh, that happened a lot. Stroh would have the initial block, and they would just be able to throw him.
He had a bad first few series, and then they went back to him. I'm not even sure why they went back to him. He was actually pretty good in the second half.
Yeah, yeah. But the first half, there was a lot. He would get on his block, but then the guy would and sometimes they would just shed him and throw him down. But a lot of times they would just post him up and then go wherever they wanted to go.
Yeah. Ohio State was very physical and effective on the defensive line. I was very impressed.
Thank you. All right. So that was what went wrong here. But, and maybe if Arch does bounce right here, he doesn't shed and he's able to wrap and get him, maybe it's a touchdown on the outside too.
If Arch gets around that block efficiently without stumbling or getting tripped or the guy coming off, and he scores a touchdown for sure.
Yeah.
But Arch is thinking, I need to get downhill fast. This play normally hits right here. I see a lane. I'm going right here. So I wish that Hudson had done more like what Injuries did and was I'm just going to double team this guy that's right in the way and then get to my guy. And that's what they did. Every other CG sweep we showed, the center Hudson leads inside.
Right. And that's why I'm not mad at Arch here, because I think this is a Hudson bust because, like we said, generally you're going to lead up to the second level.
I get why Hudson did that though too.
Exactly.
So, but it's an inside angle. So if you're Hudson, you're like, okay, we're gonna log this and wrap around.
Yeah.
You really got to be on the same page in the red zone.
Yep.
It may be that Hudson is right, but then it's like, how many reps is Arch getting reading this in practice where he's being asked to run in the goal line package?
Yeah.
Which Uncle Vance Bedford mentioned that on Twitter when I posted this. He's like, you're asking your quarterback to make a running back read in the most important context of the game.
Fair enough.
Play before this, they ran quarterback draw all the way, which I love anywhere. And it just so happened that Ohio State played a drop 8 coverage. And so Texas didn't have enough blockers for all the defenders, and Arch got caught and tackled really fast. And I was like, oh man, the one time they call quarterback draw and they get drop 8 coverage. If only Ohio State had not chosen that specific time to make that play call, this probably works a lot better. It's almost like they knew it was coming.
It was funny. I watched another a film breakdown from someone else, and they said the same thing you said. They're like, man, they look psychic on some of these plays.
Imagine that. What was the deal with them in Michigan again? Like Michigan was like,
we learned it from you, Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the thing where everybody wanted to stop using iPads when they played Ohio State? What was that about again? Do you remember that?
Mm-mm. I've heard the rumors, but they're just rumor. I have no solid proof, so I can't say what, if there's anything going on there, man, Well,
I will say that Ohio State played exemplary fundamental football, but they also were dialed in on some of their play calls, and that was
but you also you play Texas, second to last game of the season. You had all off season. It'd be a little different if it was like
Texas hadn't run a quarterback draw in like 5 years, Connor.
Yeah, but the timing's interesting, but also it's Arch Manning. Like it's not the Texas will run a QB draw in a zone read. It's not like that crazy to anticipate. Guys, if you're wondering, Ian's a big conspiracy theorist, so anything here is like going to naturally be like.
They already have a reputation for like for being well prepared about their opponents and what their opponents have been practicing. So,
but until I have evidence of that and not hearsay, then I'm, I can't go with it. And maybe we can get the NCAA dude to really crack down and figure this out. Yeah, whatever. But I felt like who was psychic? Georgia, that one game. Georgia had that psychic feel to them too. I think they just cracked our signs.
Yeah. I felt when Georgia was doing it, it felt like they had just done really good study. Because Texas ran all these plays that they had run before, where the design of the formation and the motions that they would use would telegraph what they were doing. Especially if you'd seen it before. If your players had actually spent a lot of time studying it, and you could watch Georgia, like they would motion and Georgia would like signal to each other and like play with a different alignment or technique to help stuff the play. And it looked like they had just prepared really well.
That's how I felt about Ohio State, man. Like watching their secondary defenders open up at the right times and like anticipate crossers. I just think there's tells.
Yeah. They covered that stuff beautifully.
Yeah.
And it was obviously that there was no mystery that that's what Sark does. And so they were really good at picking that up. I'm just talking about drop 8 on the goal line versus a quarterback draw it's like the only time they play drop 8 and the only time Texas runs a quarterback draw. There's a couple plays where it's like, boy, they
well, maybe they have the signs cracked.
Helmet comms.
You think they got our helmet comms?
No, I just like, why would, even if they had the signs, why would they?
I'm saying they can crack. Yeah, I'm saying they can crack the signs and get it. To me, with QB draw, man, like I'll have to look at the drop 8 part. That part's interesting, but it's like QB draw on the goal line with a running quarterback. I mean, that's like Gunnar Stockton got us. Like, it's not a crazy. Like, you can anticipate that. You know, it's not like that crazy.
Maybe. I did have a coach specifically tell me that he played against Ohio State in a recent season, and they had this play dialed up for Ohio State, like brand new formation play, and they ran it. And Ohio State ran coverage they hadn't run all year, and they ran it at the perfect time to counter the specific play that they had prepared. And they got an interception or something. And the other team was like, what in the world? Like, we've been sitting on this. We dropped it at the perfect time. And now they totally break tendency, do something they've never done before in a perfect time to just like kill us on this.
It's damn good coaching.
Yeah.
I don't know. Dig, man. Give me concrete evidence.
And Les Wexner financed Epstein.
There we go. Ian's able to tie it all together in conspiracy world. Wonderful stuff, Ian. All right. And then someone just asked about what, did we think it was Arch Manning or nerves? Eric did some good notes this morning. Go to Inside Texas because we ain't giving you all the goods, guys. Sign up. But they did say, I'll read this portion. What's going on with Arch? Nobody truly knows why his mechanics broke down. He was his normal self on the sideline. He was confident in the second half. There's a reason the mechanics broke down, but sources say he wasn't nervous, and he was back to looking like himself on Bloody Tuesday where they hit at our practices. So Arch looking normal in practice. Everybody was just kind of like, what the hell was that? Let's move forward. But Sark doesn't seem, and Eric notes, Sark doesn't seem worried about Arch, and I didn't either. In his press conference after the game and Monday, it was like the lightest I've seen him. He was just like in a happy mood. To me, it was just like, look, we thought the game plan was working out. Arch just had a rough one and clearly didn't anticipate Arch having that rough one. Let's move on. But if you watch the all 22, guys, I know it sounds like, cope, but it's like, it's fixable. Like, there's things there, like just hit the mesh to Wingo. Like, it's there, guys. So it's just, we need time together, but I don't want to see the starters out in the second half over these next 3 games. Like, I want to see full 3 quarters. I want to see developing timing. I want to see Arch hitting the basic stuff, that kind of stuff, rebuild his confidence, all of that. But I don't want to see as much depth as I initially wanted to see prior to the season. I want to see these guys get work against real opponents. It's going to be important.
I think Arch was just pressing, and there was a couple of shots where it was a predetermined throw, and he really wants to hit it. And I think he just rushed. I think he sped himself up, missed a couple throws. And I think part of Stark's deal right now is like, this does not have to be a big deal. Our young quarterback pressed, made some mistakes in a huge game on the road against an extremely good team that was extremely well prepared, threw a bunch of crap at us. This doesn't have to be a thing for Arch unless we let it be a thing.
For sure.
We need to be cool and collected and not let it become a yips kind of thing. Because it doesn't have to be. Like, a quarterback makes a couple bad throws where he's just pressing. It's like, don't make it any more than it is, right?
1,000%. The worst thing you can do is like go really dig into that. And like I said, if I was Sark, I'd be like, well, what the hell was that, Arch? All right, time to get back to work. We know what you can do. But harping on it and like letting him know that you're worried about it is not the ideal situation. Just go, well, that was bad. All right, laugh it off. Let's get ready for the rest of the season, I think, is the key as well. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for hanging out. Chat was fun. It's a fun video. I love breaking down the actual plays. We said go watch film study, guys. Later in the day, Eric's going to be on. We're going to shoot a video, Q&A questions from the board, so you'll get some more team news coming at you. Also tonight, guys, cool. Cord Samuels, known as Ghost and Friends on YouTube, Ghost of Texas Football, I believe, on Twitter. He's joined the ranks, so he will be hosting a live tonight and tomorrow. Tonight will be Around the League. It's going to be an SEC kind of centered show. He has a great network of other content creators that he always brings on, so he's going to bring on content creators from other teams. They're going to talk about the last week of conference play, what's going forward. So if you're an SEC guy, Check it out tonight. I believe it'll be at 7 o'clock. So we got a good slate of videos coming your way. Ian, thank you. Chat, thank you. And this was IT Live, and it was brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Have a great day, y'all. Peace.